Hello everyone, welcome to another video. It's been a while, a few races anyway, but this one is going to be a strategy guide for this week's daily race C, which is Group 1 at Fuji International Speedway. 14 laps, fuel at ×5, tyre wear at ×7, and we have both the racing soft and the racing medium to use. I don't think there's any tyre requirement for this one though, so no requirement to run a particular tyre. Now with Group 1, it's always about testing out different cars and finding the right car for the track. Just because of the nature of Fuji, I believe this is going to be a hybrid track only, just because you're going to need that hybrid out of the last turn and out of turn 1. Now, the first car we're looking at here is the older Toyota, the TS030. The test we're conducting is just 5 laps with the right settings and try and see where the fuel comes in to see if we can go without refueling at this stage. And you can see the Toyota, the older one, we've got 5 laps there, we've got 8.7 laps worth of fuel left. So I would say the Toyota TS030 can do the distance at a good pace without refueling. Next up we've got the Audi R18 2016. You can already see there on the field that we're struggling with fuel despite my best efforts. We're about 2 laps short on fuel. And the pace, around about the same as the Toyota TS030. But just because it's going to have to take on that fuel at the pit stop, it's going to suffer over the race distance. Although, possibly better on tyres. There we go, come across the line for R24. Just struggles with the hybrid. The R18 struggles to keep the hybrid alive for the whole lap. Next up we've got the Porsche 919. Again, very similar lap times to both the two cars previous. A little bit better on fuel than the Audi, but still struggling just a little bit. Bit of a weird car to drive for me, the Porsche, because it's got the 7 gears. I found it a bit awkward. We were making a mistake into that turn there. And just sometimes when you get on the power, it just sort of it goes a bit screw-iffy on you. Sort of straightens up unexpectedly, which caught me out a few times. So I'd say the Porsche is again not as good as the older Toyota, but around about the same as the Audi R18. Now, it wouldn't be a Group 1 race without me looking at my favourite car, even though it's not a hybrid. I do love the Tomahawk, and I often find it to be competitive with the hybrids in terms of lap time anyway. You can see decent lap times there. We've got a 26.0, which is competitive for the 3 cars beforehand. Just handles very, very nicely. It's good on tyres, and we're not too bad on the fuel. If we come across the lane, we're going to be about a lap short, so better than the Porsche 919 and the Audi R18, but not as good as the Toyota. But I wouldn't recommend using it just based on you'll get absolutely murdered by hybrid cars out the last corner and out the first corner, and then get stuck behind them and the rest of the lap. But we did do the test in a few other cars. We tried out the Nissan. I was told it was a terrible car. I hadn't really driven it, and the rumours are true. It is a terrible car. It is so bad. It's an FF car, so it just goes where it wants, to be honest with you, and the tyre wear is horrendous. We looked at the Mclaren Ultimate VGT Gr1. I'm convinced this car is going to be the car to use in a Group 1 race one day. Pace was okay, but just a little bit slower than the other hybrids, and it wasn't very good on fuel either, so probably not an option. And the other hybrid in the game is the Audi. The car's got an immense front end to get the car into corners, but other than that, it is very, very tricky to drive. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you and people who know the Group 1 class may have noticed we never looked at a certain car. Well, we're going to take a wee look at it now. The Toyota TS05016. Now, I had an inkling when I seen the settings that this would be the car to use, and so it proves. I did do the 5 lap test that I did in all the other cars, so I knew from that it was car to be, but the footage here is us doing an actual full race run, but you can see from the lap times there as we're coming into lap 5, it's It's in the mid 25s, even a low 25 there. This is a lot quicker than any other car I tested. I think between the other 7-8 cars I tested, I managed 3 laps in the 25s between them, and there's a Toyota doing 25s as if it's a Sunday stroll. Just keeps the hybrid alive much better, so you've got that full hybrid coming out of turn 1, you've got the full hybrid coming out the last turn. You've just got the full hybrid deployment that you need at every part of the track where it's required. And just to top all that off, it is far superior on fuel to any other car. It can easily go the distance, the 14 laps, without refueling. In fact, it probably has too much fuel come the end of the race, as you'll see. Now moving on to the tyres. This run here is a one-stop run using the racing soft, so you can see we're coming into, we've completed 5 laps there. Lap times are absolutely on point, very little drop off. We'll do the 7 laps to get to the pit stop with absolutely no bother at all. We're still doing purple sectors, as you can see. One thing to keep in mind though with the Toyota is it wears out its front tyres, so you have to use put the brake balance to the rear. I think I've got it at 4 to the rear, and that can cause a little bit of an issue when you come into corners like this and turn 1, because when you downshift quickly into second, it can very often kick the back end out. So just when you're downshifting into the chicane or downshifting into turn 1, just give a little delay between going from third to second. Just get the car slowed down a little bit more, and it should make the back end a lot more settled in the braking zones. Here we are, coming to complete lap 6 out the last corner. Look at that hybrid, we've got absolute full hybrid deployment. That's really the big difference between this and the Audi and the Porsche. There's just no hybrid management required whatsoever. You've always got it. Perhaps, I'm aware there are sort of little techniques to keep the hybrid alive in the Audi and the Porsche, and sort of holding the brake and acceleration zones can do that, and little stuff like that. But it's tricky to do. The cars are tricky enough to drive as it is without having to worry about that. So this is going to be our in lap, and we'll be able to take a wee look at the loss and pit stops. Again, you can just see as we come out all of these corners with the hybrids deployed, that the Toyota's got a full deployment every single time, every single lap, which again is just the major difference between that and the other modern LMP1 cars. You just see I don't know if you've seen that, but good example there of just sort of delaying that downshift between third into second coming out of the chicane. Just keeps the back end in check. Other than that, it's a pretty nice car to drive for the majority of the lap. Still finding apexes quite easily, even though we've done 7 laps on the tyres. Just the sheer downforce the Group 1 cars means that even though the tyres are beginning to wear, you've still got tons and tons of grip. So, in for our pit stop, another set of soft tyres, no fueling required. We've got 7 laps to do, and we're at 8.2 on the fuel meter there. There we go, we're in lap for pit stop. You can see on the screen that's what, 9.1 seconds slower than lap 6. So not too bad at all. And as we jump to start the last lap of the race, we can take a wee look at the out lap. That's a 1:22.6, so that's 3 seconds faster than a normal lap before the pit stop. The pit stop loss comes in for stopping about 6 to 7 seconds. As you can see, this second stint we've been into the 24, so just the fresh tyres and the lower fuel, the cars are setting the lap faster initially. So even though the lap times are stable in the first stint, they are still losing out. The tyre wear is affecting the lap times, but the fuel burning off means that it sort of counterbalances that. So we've got half a lap to go, and we're sitting at 0.4 laps worth of fuel, so no fuel saving required in the Toyota TS050, and it's definitely going to be the car to use in this race if you're looking for the most competitive overall package. And I think very quickly, unfortunately, this race is just going to become a one-make race. People will catch on pretty quickly that this is the car to be in. They'll see that most of the field is running it, and then they'll change to that, and then they'll see the benefits on the fuel and the lap times. So across the line we come to complete my race run, and that's a 25.0, so only half a second slower than my fastest lap. Again, the tyres just holding up, no problem whatsoever. Now, what if you were to do a no stop on the mediums? Well, it's possible. Just look at a screenshot here, so we come up to complete lap 10. They're about a second a lap slower than the soft tyres, but the tyres do hold on very, very well. You can see we're in the mid 26s, right up till lap 13 here. We're actually a 10th down on our fastest lap coming to the second sector, but we do make a bit of a hash of this last sector, and we dip into the 27s. But the no stop medium, the tyres will hold on. You'll get the 14 laps done. You can see it in the fuel is no issue whatsoever again. However, it's just not the most competitive way to do it. Compared to the one stop run that we did on the soft tyres, this run's actually 13 seconds slower. So it's definitely a one stop on the soft tyres for this race. We did the 7-7 split, but as you can see, the tyres would hold on. If you were to do the undercut and maybe pit in lap 6, you'd over that second step with the lighter fuel, you'll get 8 laps, no problem at all whatsoever. Now, what happens if you just can't stand Toyota, or you just want to try something else? Well, we gave the Audi a little go. We thought we'd do the one stop, try and do a bit of fuel saving, and see what happens. So in for the pit stop with the Audi, we're going to have to take on a little bit of fuel. I think we're about 1.2 laps short there. There we go, 13% of fuel added to the car. That actually adds 4 seconds onto our pit stop time. And I calculated that by this point in the race, compared to the Audi, the Toyota's one stop run, we're about 11 seconds behind. So that's a big difference. The Audi's just slower over a lap and has to take on about 15% of fuel to get to the end. So at this point in the race, with 6 laps to go, we're about 11 seconds behind, and that's going to be 16-17 seconds by the end of the race. So on the screen we've just got a bit of some bullet points, if you like. You can read that at your leisure, but I'll just read them out anyway. So the one stop soft is 13 seconds quicker than the non-stop in the mediums. The Toyota TS050, soft tyre about 1 second quicker than the medium. We've seen that from the medium one that we did. We were mid 25s in the soft and mid 26s on the medium. Both Toyotas can do the race distance without refuelling, whereas the Porsche 919 and the Audi R18 can't. Not without extreme fuel saving, which just makes you so uncompetitive anyway. Pit loss, taking on new tyres with no fuel, about 7 seconds. Pit loss tyres with about 15% fuel, about 11 seconds. The soft tyres will do 8 laps, no problem, and the mediums about 13 laps, no problem. So hopefully there's some useful and helpful information in this video to prepare you for the upcoming daily race C. One thing I will say though is that I do think PD or whoever came up with the settings has missed a trick here. I think if the fuel had been set to ×4 instead of ×5, that would have brought more cars into play. But as it is, nothing can compete with the Toyota TS050, and it's very quickly going to become a one-make race. by day 3 I think we were looking at grids of at least 16 Toyotas and a few uninformed people or ambitious people or people who just want to drive some of the other Group 1 cars in those. So as I said, hopefully there's some useful and helpful information in for you. I'm going to end the video here. Good luck with your races, I might well see you on the grids. And thanks very much for watching, and I shall see you on the next one. Goodbye.